With Irish Show. It's a poison. That doesn't help the stress level. No, don't do it. Get a grip. This stupid video I just showed you. I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show. You donkey. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome back, folks. With much trepidation, I'm kind of excited to get this show going. Woo, baby. Listen, I always say there's never a dull moment in Notre Dame land. I always say that. There's never, I tell Mike this all the time. It doesn't matter what's going on, what the calendar says. It's never a dull moment in Notre Dame land. And this portal situation is just the next thing. It is the next thing. There's opinions all over the board on what's going on, why it's going on. The sky is falling. Everybody's bad. This is all failing. Verse, you need to chill out and relax. We signed a really good recruiting class. Everything's fine. All the media stuff, it's out there about this portal. Never a dull moment in Notre Dame land. And here we are. And I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from you guys. The fans matter. Your opinion matters. Your voice matters. Your thoughts matter. I want to give people a chance to vent or to talk people off the ledge or to say, I'm not that worried about it. Or, yeah, it's really, really bad. Like wherever you're at with it, I want to know what you guys are thinking. So there's a few of you guys lined up already. This is, there's a lot here. And it's really interesting. I mean, there's a bunch of people that are like, hey, it isn't that bad, relax, like whatever. And there's a bunch of other people that are like, this is an absolute abject failure from Notre Dame at an organizational level to get into this portal and navigate it the way that we've been doing it, literally not landing one person. Not landing one person. Dr. John, no. That usually does not come till late winter. And last year, Dr. John, I figured out when the blue and gold game was based on the hotel rates before they announced it, because I was looking to book something and I'm looking at the rates, putting in different weekends. And one of them was 4 times the cost of all the other random weekends in April. And that's how I knew that's what it was. So the local hotel ripoff market in South Bend knew when the game was before Notre Dame announced it, because I looked at those weekends in April and one of the costs was 4 times all the other ones. So they ended up knowing ahead of time, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, there's not an announcement yet. You guys, it's all a perfect storm of frustration. That's what this is. And I totally understand it. Notre Dame people, the whole ecosystem was in such a negative place because of how this playoff thing ended and opting out of the bowl game and everybody hating you and all this stuff, right? Everyone was on edge, and you get Freeman back, and it was like, okay, let's go. Green light. Hammer this portal. It is the next thing you could do that actually could change something in the future instead of us all crying about what happened to us in the playoff and everybody hating us after we opted out of the bowl game. So I understand why this is such a big thing. It was the first roster thing you could hammer to move us all to 26. And let's be honest, there are wants and there are needs in the portal. There are wants and there are needs. Notre Dame has some needs. There's a big difference. It is a huge difference. If you have a dynamite wide receiving room and you want to put a cherry on top, you have a stout defensive line you like with ends that rush the passer and big guys clogging up the middle, and you want one more specialty pass rusher on third downs, long and lanky, and you got the money, that's a cherry on top. I think Notre Dame has real needs. You don't have the beef you need in the middle. You do not have, it's my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. You do not have the beef you need in the middle to compete for a championship next year. Sorry, you don't. You don't. You don't. You could disagree. You could say, John, what about this guy? What about that guy already on the roster? If this guy steps up or whatever, I'm open to all that. My opinion is you do not have what you need in the middle of that defensive line. It's my number one priority. It's my number one priority here. But there is a difference between portal wants and portal needs. I do not feel that Notre Dame has what they need in that defensive line to win a championship next year. You could win a lot of games with that schedule. I do not feel that as that roster sits today, you have what you need in the middle. That's not a want, that's a need. That's not a want, that's a need. You could sell me a little more on the wide receiver situation and you starting to like a little bit more of what you have there and be able to do it. But that defensive line is my main priority, and I just do not think, I genuinely do not think right now you have what you need, and that's why this portal was so important. Gilliam to Tennessee. Gilliam to Tennessee. Oh, Rocky Top. Yeah, kicker. That's it. Just give me a kicker that can make an extra point, and it'll all be better. How about that? Who needs defensive linemen? Just give me a kicker that can make an extra point, and the offseason will be a success. Unbelievable. Why is Keon Keeley looking at Notre Dame again? He's leaving Alabama, and he has familiarity with Notre Dame. I don't know. Obviously, he liked Notre Dame before to commit there. It's a pretty good reason, I guess. Mason Plummer, Brew Woo, and Keeley. Let's ride. Let's do it. I'm just telling you, for the people being like, nah, we don't need anybody in the portal. We're going to be fine. We signed a top 2 recruiting class. We don't need anybody. I just think that's wrong. I don't agree. Anybody that's like, I don't think we need anybody if we strike out on all these guys, I do not agree with that. You have needs. There are wants and there are needs. Notre Dame has needs on that defensive front. Needs, not wants. Big difference. And then here's the other thing too. A bunch of people reach out to me and they're like, well, look at the recruiting class we just signed. We're going to be fine. That recruiting class you just signed a few weeks ago doesn't do anything for next year's beef on the inside of the defensive line that I need. I'm not understanding that. Well, we got that top 3 recruiting class, so we're all good. I do not look at it that way. No, I don't look at it that way. That class is not going to go in there next year and provide you all the beef and action you need on the defensive front. That's not happening. So I do not understand that philosophy. I just don't. I get people want to make themselves feel better about what's happening and all that. And I'm thrilled that we landed that recruiting class. But that's different. I can't make that work. People are going, look at the recruiting class. We don't need to hit the portal. That class is not going to go in there next year and beef up the defensive line to make a deep playoff run. No, it ain't going to happen. Dr. John, my brother went to Illinois State. We watched that game. It was like a big deal for like Central Illinois people. And where my brother went, absolutely a heartbreaking loss for Illinois State in the championship game. And quite frankly, it reminded me of Notre Dame in a lot of ways. So close, but found a way to blow it. Like, it was really, me and my brother were texting, and it was really uncomfortable because you're watching Illinois State and you really don't care. But the way that game ended and they ended up losing it in the most painful way ever really, really hit home for us in a Notre Dame type of way. In a really Notre Dame type of way. Mason, I see you in here. If you're not too busy at work, log in on the link and tell us what's up with all this portal stuff. So I'm thrilled with that recruiting class, obviously, but that does not do me any good for the defensive line needs we have next year. Totally unrelated to me. Those are different things. So that's where I'm at on that. But we got people all over the board here. Yeah, Brian, when you bring everybody, you better get home quick. When you bring everybody on fourth down, you better get there. And they didn't. And also, a lot of special teams problems for Illinois State in that ball game, that championship ball game. A lot of special teams problems. And I am just not in the mood for more special teams problems, people. So I want to know what you think the realities are. Is it just chill out? Things are going to be fine? Did we, the fans and the media, have a different idea in our minds of what this portal process was going to look like for Notre Dame than they did? What's the disconnect? It feels like there's a disconnect here between what we all thought this was going to be and how it's going. I'm trying to figure out where the disconnect is. Did we not have a good handle on what this was going to be and how Notre Dame was going to operate it? Were we in a different place than they were? Or are they just cheaping out and didn't realize what the condensed market was going to do to the pricing and they're cheaping out? I don't know. And that's the hard part of this. Nobody knows. You don't know how they do these calculations. You don't know how every team's valuing different players, what their money's like, what their roster management's like, how much money is put into this recruiting class that takes away from what you have to spend. There's so many calculations here that we're just not privy to. And it leaves you just like wanting more. But this was the perfect storm, you guys. I see you guys lined up. We'll start getting to you. It was the perfect storm because Notre Dame fans were in such a bad place. This was the first chance to be able to change it and feel better and knock the bad taste out of your mouth, get some good players, feel like you're ready to rock and roll next year. And we all got hyped up for the portal opening. And then it's just been ever since. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I have a lot of questions and a lot of frustrations, not a lot of answers. Maybe you guys do. Maybe you disagree with me. You could disagree with me. This is a place for civil disagreement regarding football. I don't care. Log in, call me up and say, I disagree with you, and here's why. Maybe I'll agree with you. But though I am not letting the whole, we signed a top 3 recruiting class, so don't worry if we don't land anybody in the portal and it's okay. No, totally disagree. They're unrelated things to me. Totally separate issues, unrelated. That class has nothing to do with providing you starting level talent along the defensive line next year. It's unrelated. You got needs, bro. You got needs. As always, thanks for being here. I got some of your chats, then we'll get to the calls. As always, thanks for being here. You can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Yanni. Notifications on that way you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Shake. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it. If you don't want to start out the year looking at my face, nobody blames you. Even Omar doesn't want to. Where's that guy been? I need a self-esteem boost. Where's Omar? I just like saying, Omar. Notre Dame on SI. Read all about it. We got an article for you every single day of your life. Patreon.com/alwaysirish. I do want to say this. Great Monday Night Raw. Notre Dame people were frustrated. We needed to work some stuff out in our minds. And we had Jack Sullivan on. Ryan Roberts joined Mike and I. We spent over 2 hours giving everybody the time to clean out their mind, talk through all this, figure out where we agree, disagree, where this is all at, what the realities are. That's what that Patreon's for, man. 2-hour deep dive, giving everybody a chance to air out everything. Ryan Roberts joined us. Appreciate his time behind a paywall there. Really, really good stuff. And so, man, This is so frustrating. It's just so frustrating. All right, let's get to some of your chats. I have a couple things I want to say. We'll get to your calls. We'll see how we do today. Oh, man. Question of the day. Why is the ND fan base full of weak, fragile individuals compared to all the other schools' fan base? The worst part of being an ND fan is the ND fans. Here's my pushback to that. My contention would be you are not able to judge that unless you live the Notre Dame life, but as an Ohio State guy or as a Michigan guy or as an Alabama guy. Like, I don't think we could judge this because we're not in those other fan bases living and dying it every single day the way we all do here. You may see things on Twitter or here or there, but I think the only way you could judge this is if you took 5 years and spent 5 years intimately immersed in all the content of other teams the way you are here with Notre Dame. That's the only way to get a fair gauge of this. It isn't like what you see on Twitter. You got to live this stuff. So I would like that experiment, but you got to be in it with the other ones to the level we are here to be able to judge it, I feel like. Domer guy. Happy Keon Keeley Day. Oh, I feel like I've heard that before. Would be the best player we've had at the position since Aaron Lynch. Do you remember Aaron Lynch? Spent some time with the Bears, too. Renee. ND fans 3 weeks ago didn't even know who some of these players were. They're supposedly lost in the portal. Listen, it's a simple matter of this is a subset of a subset. It's not wide open high school recruiting. Go for everybody you want. This is a very specific case. You're going after a subset of players. And then whoever it is kind of ranks them. Oh, here's the best defensive lineman in the portal. Here's the best receivers. You already understand it's a subset of a subset. And then if they're saying it's the top guy there, you want them. Whether you know him or not, you're like, well, if we have a need and they're saying it's the second best guy available at the position in the portal, why can't we have him? That's perfectly reasonable. You don't have to know all the guys. It isn't going to be all 5-star guys. Like it isn't all going to be that. You got to know what you're already dealing with. These guys are in the portal for a reason. This is a different animal. You got to look at it way differently than high school recruiting. It's very interesting. Sly. Domer, we still have 7 days till the portal closes. I believe we'll find DTs. Plus, I think they're beefing Young up to move inside. Time will tell. You might have to get creative if you keep whiffing. I'm sorry. It's rough. The Pitt D lineman's visiting Tennessee. He'll commit there today. Keon ain't coming. Michigan's getting John Henry Daly. Well, then you're screwed. If that happens, you're not winning anything next year. You're going to win a lot of those regular season games and maybe make the playoff, and you're not winning anything. Sorry. That's my opinion. You could disagree, but if you don't address those, the beefy defensive middle of the defensive line needs, you're not winning jack next year. And I don't care if you start out 8-0 with the light schedule. You're not winning anything big with the current D-line constructed as it is. You're just not. So you're not. You don't have what you need in the middle. You don't. So sorry. I hope I'm wrong, but this staff doesn't seem to know what they're doing in terms of the portal. I wish you could get some sort of clarification from Notre Dame philosophically, or like, I wish there was a way you could know how they're thinking about it, but you just can't, because it's not really our business. But what you see doesn't look good. Scheduling visits during the week, and they never even get there because they're gone on the weekend. Like, seeming like you're not offering enough money to have these guys interested, like, without knowing or without any behind the scenes insight. All you're left with is vague media reports and then judging off what you see happening. And what you see happening is a lot of guys that seem to be who Notre Dame should be after, and you're not landing any. Zero. None. Zero, bro. None. Zero. This is funny, Mark. Did we lose anybody from the chat to the portal? John's been pretty good about keeping everybody around. I had to pay the dividend to the roster to keep all you guys here from hitting the portal, finding a different way to spend your morning. Oh, that's good. I'm starting to wonder if there's a lot of Chicken Littles in this chat. Renee, here's my question, and you're going to come up and you can answer it. What is Chicken Little about me wanting more good players on Notre Dame's team next year? Like, I get what you're saying, but I would genuinely ask, what is Chicken Little about me wanting more good Notre Dame players on the roster? And when you get your hopes up and you see them go everywhere but Notre Dame, being frustrated, I don't think that's Chicken Little. But I am not going to have anybody sell me that as we sit, that defensive line is playoff winning caliber. It's not. Prove me wrong. I hope they tear it up next year. My opinion, it ain't good enough. I know what I'm looking for, and it ain't what we have. Sorry. So I don't know. If the ND media did actual reporting as good as they try for clicks and divisiveness, we'd be doing all right. Again, it's really tough. When you get that a media report, oh, this guy's visiting Notre Dame or whatever, you get your hopes up, and then it doesn't happen, and you're like, oh, thanks for clickbaiting us and getting our hopes up. But they don't know. They're just reporting a guy's visiting, and then we get our hopes up. Why can't Notre Dame get them? Let's wait to react till the portal is closed. There are waves of this, Mark. That's a good point. There are waves of this thing. Notre Dame totally struck out on the first wave, didn't even get guys on campus. To 0 for 5, 6, 7, depending on who you asked, that you struck out on, didn't even get them on campus, didn't close if you did. But that is true. The portal's not closed. Notre Dame can land 3 defensive linemen in the next day and a half, and we're having a totally different discussion here. If Notre Dame does it, we're having a totally different talk. But as we sit today, understandably frustrating. Understandably frustrating. Tom Frawley, very important here. Please do me a favor. Keep ND legend, All-American, stand-up guy, Terry Hanratty, 66 national champ, has stage 4 lung cancer. He's a dear friend and a great guy. Notre Damer. We'll get a candle lit. We got the number 2 recruiting class. We're fine. Totally disagree. Already went over it. Those guys are not going to solve your defensive line issues next year. That's where I disagree. And if we're all aboard on 26 is the year, CJ Carr coming back, second year of the DC, light schedule, a lot of talent on the roster. This is the year. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. That's why you need to add some guys. Gilliam Cristobal to Tennessee. All right. Oh, Rocky Top. $10 holler. Ryan Elliott. Things are trending, John. Not sure if they're trending well, but they're trending. I don't know what to make of that. $5 holler. V1 rotate. The only reason I'd be mad if Indiana won the Natty is not because I hate IU, but the Fairweather fans don't deserve it and didn't earn it. This may be immature of me, and I'm happy to say that I'm immature here a lot for fun. I would have a very hard time accepting that they started caring about football 2 years ago, and they may have the Heisman and a national title. We've been chasing those things since 87 and 88 and haven't been able to figure it out. They start caring about football for 2 years in our state and figure it out. They own the state of Indiana for football, and there's nothing you could say then. And I can't accept that. I can't live that way. If they get the Heisman and the national champ, they own the state of Indiana for football. There's nothing you could say. Maybe not historically, but in the modern era, and there's no way you could argue it. I will not be able to live with that. It's going to be a big problem. $5 holler Rhino Silverback. That looks like a new name. My only frustration was to skip bowl games to prepare for next season, not to be prepared for the portal. They could still do good in the portal. That's the other thing, man. Thank you for the donations, you guys. Thank you for the donations. That's the other part of this is you felt like comparison is the thief of joy. When it comes to being jealous of your neighbor's car that's better than yours, or their bigger house, or their wife that's in better shape than yours, yes. But when it's football, comparison is all there is. Does that make sense? When you're talking about football, comparison is all there is because you're playing other teams. So there's a comparison going on every day. Every week, it's a comparison. Your guys, their guys. Your coaches, their coaches. That's all there is comparison in that way. Always Irish. There's a disconnect with Marcus Freeman. All we got was a run it back in 26. I got a lot of people putting that in my mind. Adam, you're coming up. JT, anybody else? Jump in. There are people saying, Dan Lanning gets up there and says, I'm staying at Oregon as long as I keep winning. And I tell my kids, the only way we're leaving is if I don't win enough and they want me to leave. That's very different than run it back for 1 year. And I got a lot of people that are bringing that to me lately. And they don't know if something's going on or what to take of that. But I've had a lot of people come to me and say, you know, I would feel a lot better if he went the Dan Lanning way of I'm going to be here till they don't want me to be here. That's a lot different than I'm back for 1 year. Right now, I got to work. He is back, I guess, unless the Raiders get, I don't know. Right now, he's back. And that makes me just more worried about this roster and all that. Because for 1 year, he's back. Can I at least put that problem aside for a little bit? Put that aside for a little bit. So I don't know. Yeah, Lanning is at Oregon as long as Nike is the backer. Smart move. Smart business move, because you know you are never going to be at a lack of resources. Very smart move by Dan Lanning, quite frankly. Really good setup with that Nike support that ain't going nowhere. That support ain't going nowhere from Nike, man. Fire Martin. Again, I just don't know the dynamic, you guys. I don't know the dynamic enough to know whether Mike Martin dropped the ball on all this or if Notre Dame's processing this process different than we are. Not looking at it the way we are, not valuing these guys the way we are, making calculations we're not privy to. None of us know that. None of us know that. But I do understand the concept of, okay, you're not in the playoff, you're not in a bowl game, and a dummy like me is sitting here saying that freedom of time allows you to be able to put full resources, full research, full effort into the portal. What a fool. What a fool. Signetti's over here preparing for a national title run, and he's got guys coming in on the weekend and landing them. It looks bad. I don't know the backstory, but you got to admit, that's a bad look. You're preparing for nothing. You're preparing for nothing other than spring ball. You had all this runway to do all the research on the portal guys, put a plan together, know what you wanted to do. And Signetti's over there preparing for a playoff game, gets the drop on you on the weekend and gets the guy you wanted. It's a bad look. It's just a bad look. So I don't know. It's really frustrating. A lot of minimizing the loss of Love and Price. The running back room severely unproven. Not only that, but the loss of Love and Price was also a part of this portal equation because you figured it sucks. You're losing those backs, but you're shedding a lot of money there that theoretically could be put into the portal. Well, where's that at? Where's that happening? That's what you figured, right? Then there's other people that are saying, how do you think Notre Dame landed a top 3 recruiting class? Every free dollar that they had went to sign those guys. If that happened, it's mismanagement by Mike Martin. In no world can you be Notre Dame and spend all your money so you have none available for the cap or for the portal. That makes no sense. There's no way that happened. I refuse to accept it. And I got people telling me it all every day. You can't have it all, John. They put all that money into the recruiting class. That's the only way you sign a top 3 class in Notre Dame is paying those guys a lot or whatever. There's no way Notre Dame got to the portal window and had no money to spend. And if that was a case, you wouldn't be hearing that they have visits scheduled with these guys. So that makes no sense either. That makes no sense either. Right? So I don't know, man. It's super frustrating. It's super frustrating. So I don't know. Let me get the link in here for you guys. And we'll see what you guys think. Renee, you're popping on and off. Pop back on whenever you get a chance. Adam, what's going on? Welcome, brother.
Good morning, John. What a fascinating and excruciatingly just crushing time to be a Notre Dame fan.
Adam, I'm really struggling because I just don't know a lot of the things I want to know to understand exactly what's going on and why we're in the position we're in. And I just have more questions than answers. What do you make of this? Are we overreacting?
In some regards, yes, there's a little overreaction as far as like saying like fire this person or get rid of that guy or to that extent. I do think that is overreacting. However, with that being said, it's kind of like that Dave Chappelle skit, right? Where he's like, gotcha, bitch, and it's like, it's happened so many times in the last 6 weeks where we're sitting here going like, you got to be kidding me. Like how were we not in the playoffs? And we've gone through that ad nauseum. And now it's sitting here going, wait a minute, now Marcus Freeman might be leaving, and why is he not signing? And then he finally comes back, and we go, okay, kind of a breath of fresh air. And now it's like all this news coming in, and what we're being fed about the transfer portal. And that's all we know is what's being put out on the internet and whatnot. And so we're sitting here reading it going, okay, so this guy out of Michigan State or this person over here or whatever it might be, and then every single person's going somewhere else. It just keeps feeling like we're having the rug flipped out from underneath us, and we don't have any power. We don't have any say. So the psychology is feeling like we're powerless in this because our entire world is being dictated by what others are deciding to do. And another fascinating point to that is, as far as a portal goes, John, there are currently over 4,000 football players in college right now in the portal. Over 4,000. It is a complete wild, wild west out there. Everybody's trying to get theirs. They know that this is their time to try to capitalize on their brand for their individuality going into another college, a college to become the player that they want to be, but at the same time be the business person that they want to be. And so they're out there doing it before any kind of regulation or what kind of structure might be put into place. So that's another little fascinating tip. And not every single one of those players is going to be a total stud, but it is something where you just kind of think like, man, it is really saturated out there. So there's got to be some kind of talent that we could go get.
It's the perfect blend to get Notre Dame fans frustrated, Adam, because we're all mad about how the year ended. Then you get the Freeman announcement, and the next step in it was we were all talking about hammer the portal. You're in a winning window. You have a light schedule next year. Like it should be the year. You got CJ Carr returning quarterback. Like that was the vibe. Maybe Notre Dame just doesn't operate that way. Maybe every year's the same, Adam. What if they don't feel like we feel like this urgency that next year's that window, if they push a little harder, maybe they don't feel that and they're not willing to overspend to do that the way that we kind of had in our minds. Maybe they just don't see it that way. Or maybe they've made calculations where they feel better about some guys on the roster that can rise than they do paying a guy. Like, I don't know.
That's a big gamble. But that's a big gamble, Johnny, because
we're in to not land anybody that you wanted so far. It's no wonder people are frustrated.
Yeah. And I think it's probably going to be a little mixture of it all, right? There's going to be some of that where they go, hey, we still have a couple studs that we've recruited or that we have here that we think can jump in and do the deed, right? And get the job done, be effective and whatnot. And then on the other side, it's also like, oh, we didn't get that guy, And so I don't know. I'm frustrated with the whole thing. I think we all are, because it's cumulative. It's coming from the playoff situation. It's coming from the fact that, I mean, everything I just laid out, but then let me add on this little sprinkle of wonderfulness is the fact that Miami and Indiana are still in it. And that to me is just, I know you had your friend on the other day, Bruce, and man, fantastic voice, a lot of great takes. But if there's one thing I'm going to disagree with him on, was he was saying I would take any team, including USC, to win the title over an SEC team. And I was just like almost vomited, because to me, it's like SC to me, I think is the equivalent as Michigan is to you. I have no patience, tolerance, the whole thing. And it's probably a lot of it has to do with proximity and whatnot. But
exactly. That's why like Michigan and Ohio State are a big deal to me. USC is a big deal to you in California. Bruce is down south and he hates the SEC.
There you go.
My take is, to me personally, I don't expect anybody else to agree. By far, Ole Miss winning the championship would be the least offensive result to me. Oregon, it would bother me because it's just Nike money doing it all. And something about that bothers me, because without that, it would be nothing. It is what it is, but it's just a little annoying that, Nike is the only reason that it is what it is. And then if Indiana wins, I'm humiliated. They would have everything we want in our state after trying for only 2 years. And obviously, if Miami wins, that's a nightmare on a multiple levels for our whole lives. So, to me, let Ole Miss win and show Kiffin they didn't need him that much. To me, that's the least offensive outcome.
I completely agree. I completely agree. And not to mention just stick it to Lane Kiffin in this whole, like, I'm going to leave for the grass is
Yeah.
greener on the other side to LSU and do exactly what Brian Kelly did. And it's just like, you know what? Good. I hope those kids go out and win it. I really do. And then second, I would totally agree with you, would be Oregon. And then a very distant third and fourth, and not even on the radar spectrum of it, would be those two other teams. I just, and then I think the other thing that we're also looking at is we're being hit from every single angle. Like even with this USC thing, we wanted to play them. We wanted to extend it. We kept saying like, "Hey, what can we do to make this happen? Like, what do you guys do? This is a coach issue that comes in here. He thinks he can go ahead and just like kind of dictate like whether or not they're going to play us based upon the whole Big Ten situation and their scheduling issues and the fact that they absolutely suck. And so then they're going to go ahead and they're going to try to get rid of us. And then at the back end of it, John, it becomes our fault because we sat here and we did not decide to go ahead and reschedule Wisconsin, who we had already set up from the COVID miss. So it's like, and then it's our fault, right? Well, hey, they said that they would play us anytime, anywhere, and all these different things. It's like, hey, man, like, hold up. There's a lot more context in there. So that it's just, I feel like we're getting hit from every single angle possible, whether it was on the field with ourselves, which I still blame ourselves, right?
Yep.
That's our fault that we lost those two games. That's our fault that we're not in the playoffs. But then on the top of it, we're also, it's getting hit from others saying that, well, you're going to be in the playoffs. But then on top of that, we got gaslit. On top of that, it just seems like it just never ends. And that's why when we come down to it with something like the portal and these players that we think we might be getting, or at least get on campus, my God, at least get them on campus, that's not even happening. So that's where it's like, much. There's just too many things that are adding on to it that's making us have all this anxiety about it. And so I completely understand the reaction, whether it be overreaction on some fronts and a typical, granted reaction on the other.
Yeah. Now, Brian Irish has a good point. The portal period isn't over yet. You can't judge this yet till the cycle is over. That is totally fair. I'm very, very open to that. And the first waves kind of come and gone, but these things kind of come in waves. I'm totally open to that. That at the end of this, we're going to be in a different spot, and you'll get a few defensive linemen you feel good about. I'm totally open to that. But as we sit right now, I understand the frustration with Notre Dame fans, and the media is struggling too, because they're trying to let you know guys are coming, and then it gets your hopes up, and then it doesn't go through. And then the other thing is you have media people arguing over sourcing. So there's like this dissension going on on Twitter with some of the media. Like, nobody's in a good place right now, quite frankly. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's struggling with this.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And not to mention, and I'll say this, that unfortunately, what we look for is just human beings is stability, right? And unfortunately, we don't have that right now, because even the way you talk about Marcus Freeman, John, and you're absolutely spot on, is the fact that it is a 1-year deal every single time, because he's going to be so sought after, whether it's in college or in the pros. And he's going to be getting a whole ton of phone calls continuously during the season, after the season. It doesn't matter. And so you hear someone like Dan Lanning out at Oregon, and he's talking about, I'm staying here forever as long as they'll have me, type of thing. Well, then that's fantastic. And as an Oregon fan, you're sitting there thinking to yourself, we have complete stability.
Yeah. Adam, you're cut now, buddy. Sorry. You're like really, really hard to hear today. Give me a call back. Give me a call back Friday. Didn't mean to cut you off. Really, really struggling to hear you today. All right. We got a bunch of you guys that just jumped in. I want to get everybody on. Let's go through this. Serge, good morning, brother.
Johnny, what's going on, man? Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
I got you. You're loud and clear.
Awesome.
What do you make of this, man? Like, do you understand the frustration? Are we overreacting? Is this a cumulative effect from the frustration how this year ended? What do you think, man?
Oh man, where do you begin? So I know I've been a little bit of a troll in the Patreon chat, all in good spirit. So, and actually on
Who
that,
isn't?
I know,
Who isn't?
I'm sure Frawley's on here. Tom, I'm sorry for being a little rude the other day. You weren't mansplaining. Love you, man. So big fan of the Tom calls. So didn't mean to ruffle the feathers. So I had to get that out real quick. But I think that, like, a thought hit me this morning when I was going for a little walk with the dog, is like all that pent up energy that was off the heels of a 10-game win streak following the opening debacle of the year. It just had nowhere to go. And it's like one of those, unstoppable forces meets a movable object. And now the portal season, for some reason, seems to be an immovable object where we just can't make a dent. So, because if you look at the chats, you said it on Raw the other day with Goolsby, because it was on Monday, that it was just going crazy all day on a Monday at like 2:00 or something in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It was literally a game day level, amount of engagement, I guess. And so that just tells me that everybody is like, all right, give me something to work with. That was such a disappointing, terrible way to end the year. Like, give me a win that I can latch onto. And we're just starving for that. So I don't know. Yep. Whether the optics are true, the optics being we're not paying, we decided to do the high school tactic of doing the visit last, or whatever it is, because usually perception's reality. If those optics are true, that's even more to worry about. And even if they're not true, it still sucks. So it still leaves you in just a bad spot, man.
Yeah, it's totally understandable where the frustration's coming from. I am open to waiting till the portal's over to totally call this thing a failure. Like I'm sure they're gonna get some guys. It's just, it was the perfect storm, man. Xander Cruz says, these idiots are all amateur psychologists, know the frustration has nothing to do with last year. I disagree. It does have to do with last year. Everyone was so mad. All this pent up energy was pushed to next year. And this portal was supposed to be the first real part of that. We're doubling down. Everybody's mad. I had people tell me the donors are pissed off. They're throwing more money at NIL because they're mad we got snubbed out of the playoff. It is a continuation of the frustration of last year.
Yeah,
that's why,
Xander,
that's
sorry,
why this
what
stings
is
right
a
now to the
talk
level
show?
it does.
Yeah, sorry. What is a talk show if you're not psychoanalyzing the fan base? So, idiots are all, psychologists.
Yeah, well, I'm the main idiot. That's what I do every day. So and it's not going to change. So do you think Notre Dame miscalculated on some of this, on cost or arranging those visits? Like, do you believe Notre Dame's made some mistakes here or miscalculations? Or do you just think some of these guys are probably getting offers Notre Dame just doesn't think is worth their value and they're just not going to do it? And we just don't know that. I don't know that. Is it responsible or are they dropping the ball? I don't know.
Well, it's a case of so shifting from a psychology example, and we're investigating. We're all amateur idiot investigators now. We have a lot of suspects, but we have a lot of circumstantial evidence, but no hard evidence, because we're not in the rooms. We're not hearing the conversations. We're not seeing what are our offers compared to the other team's offers. What is the pitch compared to another team's pitch? Are we just getting outsold? Because it's a game of sales at the end of the day. So I'm sure Freeman's not getting outpaced on that, to be fair. But it's one thing that came to mind for me. I mean, we've beaten just about every single topic there is to death in the Patreon chat, but we a few weeks ago were a little hung up on the schedule. We kind of got away from that with the portal chaos, and for good reason. The schedule, I posed this question earlier. My question to you is if you're an NFL hopeful, you're a legitimate 1st through 5th round guy. If you make it through the season, you put good film on tape, you're going to go make millions of dollars, not on a 1-year deal, but a 4-year deal in the NFL. If you're looking at Notre Dame's schedule and the type of teams you could put film on against versus an SEC school, a Big Ten school, I know they're out of conference games or cupcakes, but let's be real. A lot of these schools have gauntlets that they're playing next year. And we're going to say, well, we got an opportunity for you to flash against NFL talent at Miami and BYU. That's not like our strength of schedule is so weak to a point where it's, I think, a disadvantage to just not the quality of the games we're watching and we want to see as fans, but just like to appeal to the competitive drive of a recruit. I could be totally off on that. I'm curious what
you could flip it. If you're a 1-year portal guy, that's a good chance to log a bunch of good stats for the NFL next, on one more year. Look, get against Wisconsin and have a good first game. It'll help your draft stock. Like, you could look at it that way too, of like, but that's something else that's come up. I see you guys. We're going to get to all you guys. KKIrish, Ryan, I see you guys. Renee, my man Louise, JT, you're all coming up. It's so damn frustrating.
So John, last thing, and I appreciate you bringing me on because I got a 11 o'clock Eastern call coming up, so I have to bolt. So I'm glad I was able to squeeze in amidst all the callers and stuff. So I don't want to keep anybody. I'll save this for a few weeks out when things die down and we need to obsess about something else to pass the time. But and we've talked about it a lot. I think I have a little bit of a different angle as a younger fan, in my early 30s on what does Notre Dame's identity proceed from? Does it proceed from purely independence, or like what? I think we should spend some time when we, again, have time to kill on like what truly characterizes Notre Dame's identity. Yes, independence is one. I got some different angles on that. I don't want to, that's probably a longer one, so I'll save that for later.
But that's a really good off-season topic philosophically and existentially to think about when you really get into the slower periods. I would love to explore that more because I do think there's some generational divides in the opinions on that too that I find personally fascinating, and kind of where the sport's heading overall and what that might mean for Notre Dame. So I like that. I would love to revisit that. Serge, anything else? Thanks for being here and thanks for being on the Patreon so often.
Yeah, man. Peace be with you. Have a good one, everybody.
Have a good one. Oh, my father, bless me. Peace be with you as well. Good hairline on that guy. I don't know nothing about that, man. Good hairline on the Serge. Big time Gene Wilder. ND has spent tons on retention. Don't forget that. Here's my response. You spent tons on retention and your D-line's nowhere near good enough. So where does that leave you? That doesn't make me feel any better. Like, I get it. You got to keep your good players happy. And I also understand you don't get a lot of credit for paying what it takes to retain your good players. You don't hear about those deals. That's fair. That is honestly fair. You don't know the battles it takes and the money it takes to retain the good players you have. And those don't break news. It's not on Twitter. Hey, Notre Dame stopped somebody really good from going to the portal by doubling their pay. You don't hear that news, but it's all going on behind the scenes. That is very, very true. However, your D-line's not good enough. So, like, fine, fine. But they're not good enough. The D-line's not good enough as currently constructed to make a title run next year like everybody had in mind. It's just not. So that does concern me when it's like, well, you had to sign that top 3 recruiting class and divvy out promised freshman money. And then you had to pay all this money to retain. You did all that, and the D-line's not elite title level. So where does that leave you? And you could disagree. You could tell me, John, I think they have enough. They're going to figure it out along the defensive front. You need to chill. I disagree with you on that. You can have that opinion, and I will respect it. My opinion is that D-line looks nothing like what I envision a team making a deep playoff push looks like. You could disagree with me. I don't have all the answers. I yell in my basement every day. You can tell me I'm a dummy. Let's keep it moving. If you're on hold, you're on the air. KKIrish. Ooh, I like that background, brother.
You like that? Yeah. It's my wife has contributed a lot to my crazy fandoms.
Yeah, so, I like that. I like
But
that a lot. You've been
you.
here. You've been hearing the discussion.
Yeah.
There's varying opinions. I would love to know what you think, man. Thanks for joining today.
It's crazy. It's almost like I'm listening to free agent baseball. And it's sad that college football has become this. I was watching the game, one of the bowl games, and they said the kid is on his fourth team in 4 years. And he was like 24 years old, 25 years old.
There is a movement. I even think Muff McGraw, the old women's basketball coach, put out a Twitter or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
There is a movement of the idea that unless a coach leaves, you should only be able to do this one time. Go to a school, then go somewhere else. But there is a little bit of a movement to stop the year to year going to the highest bidder and keep it moving. Like there is a little movement against that. The other thing we need to acknowledge is Notre Dame's always going to be a recruiting driven program. That's never going to change. We're not going to be Ole Miss with 68% of your starters, portal 1 year guys. That's not Notre Dame's, like the foundation of Notre Dame, because of the academics, because of the culture. High school recruiting is going to drive the ship, and it should.
Yeah.
But you should also have room to address a few needs, put a couple cherries on top. But I'm never going to expect 30 guys out of the portal, we're not going to operate that way. And I don't expect them to, but you should be able to address some needs and get a couple cherries on top. That's not too much to ask.
Yeah. Cause I was talking to my friends about that a couple of years back when, they did Hartman in the portal, then they did Leonard in the portal. Yep. I said, how the hell are you going to get a kid to come play quarterback for you who's a five-star, quarterback? And recently I saw where they said that CJ Carr was contemplating leaving and they upped the ante with him. Did you hear any of that?
People sent me rumors about that, but I don't know what's true or not. I can't
That's
verify.
The thing. You see stuff on Twitter and X and all this crap. You don't know what's real or what's fake.
Nope. Yeah, you don't know. And there's a lot of competing sourcing on stuff with the portal. It's just been a confusing time. So are you like stressed out, or are you like, let's wait and see? We still have some time in the portal. They'll land some guys. We'll be in a better place next week. Like where's your anxiety and thought level at?
You know what? It's weird being not in the playoffs this year. It's almost like I'm a lot more calmer, and I don't know. I think they'll be all right. You know, it's crazy because I saw something yesterday. The guy that went to Penn State from Iowa State brought 19 kids with him.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's decimating a program.
I saw that. Here's why that's interesting. One is the position it leaves Iowa State in. With the new situation. But here's the other side of that I'm interested in. I want to see how a heavy Iowa State roster does in the Big Ten at Penn State, because I look at the schedule and the whole conference that Iowa State's in a lot different than I do week to week in the Big Ten. How's that going to translate? I don't know. Not my problem though.
I mean, the portal it's broken. I
4,000 guys. 4,000.
I'm an older guy. I'm 60, so it's killing me. I was always on the side where the kids shouldn't get paid. They're getting an education for free.
Yeah,
and
that ship sailed, and it's never coming back to the dock.
No, I know. I mean,
and the thing is, man, I've really thought about this a lot. How that whole movement isn't really like Notre Dame's thing because of the school and the values, and the guys got to go to class. But the bottom line is, if you don't get with this, you're done as a program. You have no choice. If you want to compete at all, you got to be in the game.
That's what Dabo's
dealing with.
That's what Dabo's dealing with down in Clemson. He was against the portal, and the boosters were like, you know what, pal? Guess what? You better get with the program because your past couple seasons ain't cutting it.
Yeah. So it's a wild changing world, and Notre Dame always has the problem of having to thread the needle of trying to maintain our values with the culture and the educational piece while weaving it into the modern era, which is getting further from that with what looks like pay for play and a lot. That's a tough line to walk. How do you get in that game but maintain your values? That's an ongoing struggle Notre Dame's got to battle, and one of the main things Pete Bavacqua has to deal with in his tenure. How do you do this?
Well, that was one of the things I was thinking about the other day, too, when they were saying that we're missing out on these kids in the portal. Maybe they're not academically up to par. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they're not making offers because they're like looking at this kid's academic resume and saying, you know what? He's not for us.
Here's my one thought on that, though, is anybody they had scheduled to come in, the research should already be done before you waste everybody's time to schedule a visit. So the guys that I know they had visits scheduled for, it would be horrible on Notre Dame to not know if they could get in or not. You're wasting everybody's time then.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that.
Those guys, the research should have already been done. That's what you have a recruiting staff for and an office of back-end people to dig transcripts and look at credits. Somebody's got to be ahead of that so we're not wasting everybody's time.
Yeah, that's true. But it is kind of frustrating, especially I'm a Yankee fan too, and they're doing absolutely nothing with the free agency. And then I see Notre Dame missing out on these guys in the portal. I'm like, oh God, it's like two in the same.
Yeah, maybe this will turn around. Maybe later on today we get a couple D linemen. Everybody's in a much better mood. Maybe Keon Keeley comes full circle back home and people are happy about that. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, but this all is really predictable because Notre Dame fans are agitated already. They were really looking forward to this, expecting a big bang to go all in. It hasn't started. It is the most predictable reaction of a fan base of all time, given where we were coming from in a bad place. Yeah. Totally predictable. And I just don't have answers, man. I don't know. I don't know how Notre Dame's operating with this. I don't know the philosophy. I don't know where things are not connecting. And without knowing that, you get speculation on a show like this.
Well, it's a good thing Freeman is coming back, though. So that's a positive.
It is the only thing that's gone Notre Dame's way in a month. Yep. If you really think about it, man, nothing else good has happened. That's the only bit of good news you've gotten in a calendar month, literally.
Well, and that and if the car thing was true, then he's coming back too. So that's also a positive.
Yeah, I didn't know whether people were just trying to get me riled up, sending me saying I heard this rumor. I can't verify it, so it's not something I'm really worried about. But I don't know, man. But I understand the frustration from Notre Dame fans. I do. And no one in this fan base wants to hear Notre Dame doesn't have the money to go get people. Like you go buy a t-shirt at the bookstore and it's a month's rent. Yeah. No one wants to hear that. I know that's not where the money comes from. No one wants to hear Notre Dame doesn't have money to spend. Every time I pull into town, there's a new $1 billion building and less parking. Give me a break.
Yeah. It's like the Catholic Church crying poverty.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm open that this thing will level out. You'll get some guys or whatever, but it is just a frustrating start.
All right, pal. I'll let you go. Get back to the other people. It was always good talking to you. Go Irish.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Hey, enjoy the football. We got a lot of football coming.
What do you think of the game tomorrow night?
I'm afraid we're going to get Indiana, Miami, and then I'm going to be miserable no matter what happens.
Yeah. I think that might be the best game, though.
Probably, but for different reasons. If it's Indiana, Miami in the title, I'm going to be miserable no matter who wins it. It's just going to be a dark time. I would like to see I want to see Ole Miss stick it to Lane Kiffin and make this full run. Like, we didn't need you. Go ahead to LSU. I would love it for the story. I would love to see it.
That would be awesome, but I think Miami's too strong for them.
Miami's O-line and D-lines may make the difference. They're really, really – they got guys on both lines that I'm a little jealous of. Hey, man, thanks for joining. Enjoy the games and then all the NFL playoff games. We got a big weekend of football.
Well, it's just I'm not going to enjoy the NFL. I won't enjoy the NFL games. You see over my right shoulder there, the Raider thing. So I'm actually looking hopefully to get Fernandez, or Mendoza.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see who they hire as well. Hey, man, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Go Irish.
Have a good one. I like that background. I really do. All right, let's keep it moving. If you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. Ryan, what's going on, buddy?
Not much, John. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm not stressed out at all. It's just business as usual over here. I'm not stressed out at all. Ryan, I know you're heavy into the recruiting stuff and looking into some of this. What do you make of it? Is the frustration justified, or are we overreacting because we're all in a bad damn mood?
So I agree. I think this is carryover, obviously, from not making the playoff. This time last year, it was kind of slow, I guess, to start the portal because we were focused on playing Penn State in the Orange Bowl. I don't even know if we had a commitment around this time last year. But we weren't as worried about it, right? We were in the playoff. We were on a national championship run.
Yeah.
Didn't care. This year, again, if you didn't make the playoff, the only good thing that's happened is you got Marcus Freeman back. And I think part of the frustration too is, like you mentioned earlier, you've got all the beats kind of competing with each other, all giving out conflicting information. One site says this, one site says the other.
Yeah.
And it's very confusing. And then it gets into a power vacuum on Twitter. There's rumors this, there's rumors that. You don't know what's true, what's not. But the main thing that you kind of heard was, oh man, Notre Dame, they're going all in. That was the term, all in the portal.
Hey, Ryan, this is a key point. This is a key point that I have not gotten to yet because we got busy with callers, but this is on my notes and you walked right to it. Here's my question. Feel this out. Okay. Work with me through this.
Yeah.
Who created the all in on 26 narrative? Was it the fans and the media in reaction to the frustration of this year, combined with a lighter schedule and a lot of talent returning next year? We all naturally assumed it would be full in on 26, double down, overpay for guys in the portal if you need to, because that's your window to really do something with that schedule next year, and a returning quarterback for once in a long time since Ian Book, like second year of the DC will be leveling out, whatever. Did we create the all in on 26 narrative? Maybe Notre Dame just doesn't operate that way. And every year is the same, and the budget's the budget. Maybe we created the all-in urgency. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that was also part of it. But I don't exactly remember because I'm in a group chat with about 100 Notre Dame fans, and so there's tons of information that's sent, and the constant theme was Notre Dame's going to make shocking moves in the portal, all hands on deck. And then it's like you hear about the Wake Forest D tackle Mateen, like that's a guy Notre Dame's going after, the receiver from Michigan State, Nick Marsh. And then you're getting all excited, you're all pumped up, man. Those are 2 top 10 guys in the portal. Notre Dame's taking this thing seriously. And it's just like dud. And it's like, okay, we're sitting here 3 days in the portal, haven't got a commitment yet. And then you hear the stuff about how, the rumors about Marsh, it was like some $3 to $4 million deal. And the Indiana sites reporting that it was a thing where they had him on campus and they said, hey, if you need to either commit now, and if you leave campus, the same offer's not on the table. Like, it's a whole thing. And for me, the Marsh thing is not as bad, right? I don't think receiver is as big of a need. The defensive line is very concerning.
Yep.
And the reported amount, at least what rumored, was that he was about $1 million to get Mateen. Like you said, you see Notre Dame doesn't have the money, or you hear Texas Tech just has more money than Notre Dame. I find that so hard to believe, John. I find that so hard to believe. With how much money that the Notre Dame has, like you said, they're building a new $1 billion building. Seems like every year. You got some of the.
Okay, Ryan. So the question is, though, did Notre Dame enter this thinking you could like low ball for the few defensive linemen everyone wants and land them because why? You have a shiny gold lady on the top of your building? Like, I don't like, it feels like Notre Dame's surprised that in a inflated small market, the value of everything gets inflated to a ridiculous level. Like, everybody involved needs to go into it knowing that, and you got to be okay with that to be in this battle. You got to know it's a limited market with inflated values. And if you're not comfortable with that, don't even bother. It can't be a surprise to you.
Well, and it really can't. And I think this not only falls on, I don't think it really falls on Freeman as much as it falls on the recruiting department. You have a whole recruiting department with Mike Martin, who so far has done an amazing job. You signed the number 2 recruiting class in the country. Arguably the best Notre Dame recruiting class in high school that we've seen, at least in the modern era. Done a great job. I feel like there's been a lot of, this is his first year in the portal where he's got to go out there and kind of do the work. And I think it's showing. You decide to be the last team to get these guys on visits. You know, half these guys don't even make the visit that they were supposed to go to Notre Dame because the first team they visit, they commit to. And I think maybe that's because they use the same strategy they used for the high school recruiting this year, where we got the final visit. Yeah.
Is there any rational reason that would be acceptable to you of why we did those visits for during the week and then got jumped and didn't even get a chance? Like, is there a practical reason you would accept for that? Or do you think that is just like unacceptable? Or do you have no choice, Ryan? Maybe the guy feels like Indiana's where he kind of would be leaning if everything was equal. So you're going to go there first. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing Notre Dame could do if that was the setup. Like, again, not knowing leads to all the speculation. What do you make of the weekday thing?
Yeah, again, I think it was a bad part on Notre Dame because it's not the high school. These high school kids get years to decide where they want to go.
Yeah.
These guys in the portal get 2 weeks.
Yep.
They get 2 weeks to make a decision. You want to be the first team to get a crack at them. And the fact that Notre Dame didn't have at least one visitor that first weekend the portal was open, and you hear everybody else, every other team's got massive portal visitors that weekend, and you're seeing commitments left and right. I think that was just I think they thought, hey, it's just like it was for high school. You know, we got Joey O'Brien on the final visit. Worked out.
Yeah, but you gotta understand. I am a moron in my basement that yells for a living. And I even know in high school recruiting, you want the last visit. In the portal, you want the first visit. Everyone knows that. Come on. In regular recruiting, you want the final chance to make the pitch. In the portal, speed is the key.
Yep. And again, I also do want to put out, I think the portal stuff, it's so hectic. You know, we had there's a defensive lineman from Penn State that's visiting right now. And there was a prediction put in today for him to go to Tennessee. And it's like, okay, that's even adds some more frustration, right? And it's like, okay, so then what's going on? If we're having guys on campus and they're getting prediction to go to Tennessee, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, are we just like, and again, I think part of it's ran by agents. I think that's why you've seen so many different reports from so many different credited beat writers. Because like there are a lot of these guys, I love their work. I love their stuff. I love their articles. They're usually very trustworthy. And then you see just so much conflicting information from accredited sources.
Yeah.
It's like, tough. Are these agents just playing this game where they're like, we'll feed this much information to this site, we'll feed this to this site?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to raise up the price and use that for negotiation tactics.
Yeah, I don't know. So, okay, let's play this out, man. Like, do you feel like, if we're having this discussion in a week, we'll be in a better place and we're going to have a few guys fill some defensive line needs? Like, do you think this will level out? And I hope, I don't know.
I would say we better. If we, because it's not just D-tack, John, we need a kicker, and we need a kicker bad. Like, I mean, I don't know about you. I can't go all next year watching, being on pins and needles, thinking, are we going to make this PAT?
Dude, usually when you're watching games on TV, we score a touchdown. You can like go take a leak or get a beer, come back during the commercial, and it's 7-0 or whatever. This last year, everybody's on the edge of their couch to see if they're going to make the damn extra point.
Bro, we celebrate every time Eric Schmidt made a PAT. We celebrated.
Oh man! So
but yeah, no,
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
The speculation's wild. Twitter is a toxic nightmare. Like that world. It's toxic. Yeah. The media's going at each other. No, everybody's in a bad mood. So I just hope we get some good news, man. Anything else you wanna bring up here?
I do want to say, because I trust me, I'm just as frustrated as everybody else, right? I think 2026 is a year where you have national championship aspirations. If you don't make the playoff, I even think if you don't make the Final Four, it's a disappointment of a season next year. That's what your goal is. We've got a very talented team coming back. You got the number 2 recruiting class coming in. We forget that at times because we're living in the moment in the portal. But regardless of what happens in the portal, we have a very talented roster next year.
It's true.
We do need to fill up some holes at D-tackle and kicker. But outside of that, I think this team is set. So all the Notre Dame fans that are dooming right now and step away from the ledge just a little bit. Don't do it yet. Just wait and see. But I think we've got a good shot at a natty next year. So
yeah, we'll see what happens. It's not over, but I understand the frustration. We'll see you out there on the Twitter streets, man.
Yep. All right, John. Take care.
Have a good day, buddy. Have a good one. Scott, what's going on? Or I hit the wrong button. Chris, what's going on? Scott, you're coming up after I hit the wrong button. What's up, Chris?
Hey, John. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're good to go.
Yeah, my first time calling in. I've been watching and listening for a long time, and just
thank you.
For me, there's always going to be frustration, right? I think with everything that Notre Dame does, I think that we're just that type of program where like the expectations are so high, and there's just this expectation that we target this guy in the portal, they're going to want to come to Notre Dame because we're Notre Dame. And in this world that we live in now, where college football is basically the NFL, it does hurt my heart. It really does. And, you look at some of this, and now you've got Kenny Sanders getting hired. And I think the timing of that and Notre Dame PR and, that whole mess, like Mike Martin, is he just underwater? Right? Like there's all these, so much negativity out there. But at the end of the day, like a lot of people have said, like we are built to win next year if we can plug some holes. But I also believe in development, right? And I think if you're going to look at some of these guys, if you're going to look at Mylan Graham, who had like 6 catches, yes, he sat behind, 2 top 10 receivers. Like you do want some experience there at the boundary. You want guys that can go up and make plays. But you look at a guy like Cam Williams, and it's a 5-star guy, and it's year 3. It's like, how long until the development, right? Like you look at Micah Gilbert, how he started off strong, 2 hand injuries. Like, what does he look like? Like, when does it become a point where it's just like, we're going to trust the guys that we have and go about it, right? Like D-tackle, I can understand, right? You gotta, live and die by offensive and defensive line, like Freeman wants.
Chris, you're right. The part of this you don't know is the calculation of looking at a portal guy and then Notre Dame looking at the calculation of what that guy could bring, what they think he is, how long he has left to play, 1 year or whatever. the amount it would take to get that guy, and then measuring that of the projection of what they think of the guys in-house in that position group room. We are not privy to those calculations. And then it may look like a team you don't think is as flashy as Notre Dame lands a guy. You don't. Maybe they're more desperate for that position, don't believe in the high school recruiting they have in the building, feel like they have to pay up to fill the need, and Notre Dame doesn't quite feel that way. It looks like you whiffed, but did you really whiff? If you made the calculation, you believe in your guy and your recruiting, you didn't really whiff then. You may have saved money. But to us, it looks like you whiffed. How could you lose a guy to that team or whatever? We don't know those calculations. D-line, I think, is different because I think that's pretty clear of a need, especially inside. But other positions, I think those calculations are being made, and they look like losses on the internet, but I'm not sure they are. I think that's a fair point you brought up. Good job by you.
I think also, right, look at how many of these guys they're targeting in the portal that have multiple years left. I mean, 5-6 years ago, it was never even talked about. It was grad transfer or nothing.
Yeah,
and
I've
so
noticed
now,
that too. I've noticed that too.
You think about it, it's like, yes, we signed the number 2 class in the portal. Think about, those guys next year, maybe some of the guys that don't get playing time, not just for Notre Dame, but for anyone who signs a top class. Like, more and more kids are going to jump in the portal every year. So it's like, how do you find that balance, right? Notre Dame's always going to be high school recruiting and like filling needs in the portal additionally. So it's, how do you find that balance of making sure these kids understand where they sit in the pecking order? And you've got to go and win the job, right? But you also need to, figure out how to layer that in with the portal, which is extremely difficult, especially for Notre Dame. So for me, like, I do agree, like, some things will happen. Do I think we're going to get like these ridiculous playmakers, in the middle of the defensive line? No, I don't think we will. I think we'll get some pieces. But what that means to me is I'm really excited to see CJ Carr go score 50 points a game to win some of these games next year, because we're going to need it.
Yeah, it's, man, it's just, somebody asked me yesterday, what do you think of how dramatic this has all become? And you're asking me, Mr. Dramatic, like you're asking the wrong guy, right? Like, I fly off the handle, hot or cold, depending on what it is. But I got asked, what do you really think of how wild this whole portal thing's getting with the Notre Dame people? It does not surprise me at all, because it connects to the way this last season ended. We are all in such a bitter mood. This was a chance to move it forward, and everybody just wanted home run, home run, home run, feel better, feel better. Maybe you still get it. It just hasn't happened quick enough. I don't know. But I'm not surprised at all by the reaction. Not one bit.
But it's also true. Like, Notre Dame is still bringing in the high caliber players and also high quality kids and high quality students, right? Like, back in Connecticut, I called games for Greenwich and Brunswick in, kind of the NEPSAC league where Ethan Long came from, and Blake Hebert and Will Black. And I saw all these guys, and it's like, these guys are choosing Notre Dame for more than just football. They're tremendous football players.
Yeah.
But these are guys, like, I don't expect, an Ethan Long to jump in the portal, right? Like, I've met him like a bunch of times. I mean, the kid is just an A1 kid. Same thing with Will Black. Not only is he like extremely talented, and I think he's going to win a starting job this year. That's one of my
Me too.
red hot predictions. But these types of kids are in it for the long haul. And the more years this goes on with just no guardrails in the portal, the less and less you'll see of those kids. And it's just one of those things where it's like, you can't really stop it until the NCAA is just completely dissolved. Yeah. And you've got someone, like a Nick Saban, although I don't think that's going to happen, like running it from the top. But certainly wouldn't want that. But
the other problem is, in high school recruiting, like, the field's pretty level. Like, everybody kind of approaches it generally the same way. The portal's so different. There's some teams that just aren't really relying on good high school recruiting, and that's the roots. There are some teams that seem to be okay paying a ton of money and having a rotation of 30 guys every year and they're more comfortable doing it that way. We need to realize that's never going to be our way. And I don't want it to be that way, but you should still have a little meat on the bone to get what you need on top. That's my position. I don't want Notre Dame to turn into that.
It's one of the reasons why I just despise Curt Cignetti so much. You know, and I think he's a great coach. And my brother-in-law and like a lot of his family and my sister-in-law like went to JMU and saw him like throughout that phase, and like unbelievable job. But I'm just like, the fact this guy is just going in and being like, $2 million, take it or leave it. And if you leave here, it's gone. And kids are just like, all right, let's roll. It's like, man, this is just not, you know, as someone who's turning 40 next year and just seeing this, man, it really does hurt my heart. It irks me to the core. And I just look at him with that eyebrow raise and I'm just like, God, so frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, they're rolling and it rubs it in your face because they're right down the highway there. It's really frustrating. So what do you think, man? Do you think this will level out and maybe by this time next week, we'll be in a better place talking about some portal pickups? If you got Keon Keeley, everybody's going to be in a good mood about that. Like, I don't know. I'm very open to the idea the tone on this could shift.
I think it will. I don't think it's going to get to the point where it's like, hey, Notre Dame hit a home run in the portal. I think it'll be middle of the road. I think we'll fill some gaps. I mean, I think if there's a way you can somehow convince Luca Lombardo to come here and kick some field goals, that'd be nice. But, you know, who knows there? I think D-tackle and maybe someone like a Keeley on defensive, you know, end and rushing is going to be huge. You know, Xavier Gilliam being cristobal to Tennessee, like, again, how much of that is agent, you know, stuff versus, you know, what we've seen in the past. I don't know. Like, the kid from, you know, Pittsburgh, we'll see how much Chris Partridge has to do with that and how much influence there. At the end of the day, you're going to have a good offensive line. You've got to replace some people. You know, you've got experience on the outside. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, this offense is even more explosive than this year. You're just going to need some of the receivers to step up. Yeah. And then on defense, I mean, think about all you're losing next year. You know, Moore is gone. Schuler's gone. Bowen's gone. Traore's gone. I mean, this is it. This is the year. And like, not to say that we're not going to be in like the title conversation, especially if it goes to 16, we'll always be in the playoff conversation, but the title conversation, like, this is the year.
Yeah, you're right. That 27 roster, there's going to be a lot of talent flipping off that, especially defensively, for a lot of reasons. That's why people identified next year and then figured this means you're going all in. And so I understand it. Maybe we end up in a better place a week from now. I'm open to that. Anything else, Chris? Thanks for joining, man. We've had some first timers. I love getting you guys in here in the rotation. What else, man?
That's it, man. I just appreciate you and everything you do. I'm definitely going to try to, you know, jump in more just based on work and my schedule, but really excited to do so. And I'm hoping for some good news. Even a few things here or there, I think we'll settle down the fan base and we'll be good to go. But I appreciate everything you do.
Hey, man, I'm with that. And then try and get to a tailgate, man. Doing one for blue and gold. Probably going to do 2 games next year. I'll let people know what ones. We're going to have more opportunities to meet more people. So we'll let everybody know what games we're going to do. You can make your plans. We'd love to have you, man. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
Have a good one. Scott, what's going on? Renee coming up. JT coming up. I see Louise popping on and off. What's up, Scott? Good morning, brother.
Good morning, man. Happy New Year, John.
Oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, just it started out really low stress, if you couldn't tell. I mean, we're all in a really good spot here. What do you make of this, Scott? I saw you've been on hold. You've observed, heard what we've been talking about. What do you make of the dynamic, my friend?
Well, you know, you sit there and it's kind of juggling some of the guys that we lost. You know, we can't see behind the veil, but you know, is it grade issues compared to them not wanting to go to Notre Dame? You know, it'd be nice to know that, you know, just for peace of mind. Something else I wanted to throw out there, and life has thrown a lot at me lately, and I haven't had time to tune in as much as I wanted to, but I wanted to run this by you and see if you've had any conversations with anyone on this. But uh, on the outside looking in, I wonder if Marcus's flirtation with the NFL, him coming out and saying, roll it back in 2026 instead of Notre Dame forever. If I was some of these portal guys with multiple years left, I don't know. Notre Dame didn't send a signal, nor did Marcus, that he's here for the duration.
Here's my thought.
And
I have a real thought on this.
I'm wondering if that affected some of what's going on.
I feel like that would be more of a concern with regular recruiting, not the portal guys that are here on short term, especially 1 year guys. But I would be much more fearful that top 5 class you just signed, half of them leave if Marcus is done after next year and he leaves. I'm much more concerned about that with the high school recruiting than I am the portal guys, where money's a factor and it's a shorter term deal. Believe me, other teams are going to negatively recruit against Notre Dame with this angle. That is going to be a thing. I've heard other beat guys say it's going to be a thing because Marcus said, run it back for 26. Dan Lanning said, I'm here until I lose enough. They don't want me here. Those send very different messages.
Yes.
I'm more concerned with it with long-term high school recruiting than I am the portal. But then again, that's just my opinion.
And he very well may have communicated to recruits and people that he's going to be around. I mean, I personally, I think that Marcus is a Notre Dame guy as much as he can be for not going to school there, but he's bought in and setting the trends and what's going on there. It would be devastating to lose him.
Well, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you have a head coach at Notre Dame that other people don't want, how good of a head coach do you have? And on the flip side, if you got to worry about it every year, you got to worry about it every year and you're stressed out about that. Like, you lose either way in this. And Marcus is a unicorn he's a unicorn being under 40 and as sought after as he is and everything like that. Like, the personality, he's one of them weird, different guys where the NFL wants him and the college people want him. You got to win while you got the guy before circumstances change.
Yeah. I do think that what happened with us not making the playoffs and all of that, I think it affected him deeply. I might be wrong, but I don't think he's talked sense to the media.
Nope.
I really think that he thought this was the year and we could have made a deep run. And then you look at all these generational talents that we have on the team, man, we've lost some really good guys. I mean, I don't know if Notre Dame's ever had a tandem like Price and Love. What it reminds me of is I hate to bring it up, but Reggie Bush and Lindell White when they were at USC.
Yeah, it really hurts, man. It really hurts because you knew they were both likely to leave and you just felt like everything got cut short. Like you just felt like there was more run in life and seeing those two in a Notre Dame uniform, and it got painfully cut short and it really hurts. And then there was also a thought of, well, if those two are gone, it frees up all the money they were getting so you can make up for it in the portal. And that was in people's calculation too. And that's how you're sitting here this week like, okay, we're waiting.
Yeah, I'm on the verge of getting concerned about some of the guys we've lost, and if we will lose any more, just because I live here in the South, and my friends are Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, all SEC fans, and I'm loving the new portal and all these things going on because I remember before all of this, Georgia, Alabama, they had 5 stars players stacked like cordwood.
Yep. They had 5-star players riding the bench. Yeah,
Yeah.
with the depth. It is spread out the talent, and it really shows on the front line depth, line play especially. You lose a couple, you don't have a 5-star right behind them. And Notre Dame went through that losing Pat Coogan, who likely wasn't going to start, but would have ended up starting because we had so many injuries. Instead, he gets guaranteed money, guaranteed starting in Indiana, and look at how good that's gone for him.
Yeah, that one hurts, and especially when ESPN's rubbing the salt in the wound. He's getting all the accolades, and he used to go to Notre Dame.
Yeah. It's a moving world, and things are changing so quickly in the sport. Sometimes I wonder if the changes are going to have downstream negative effects we're not fully aware of yet, of like what it's all doing to the sport. And I think losing the Notre Dame USC game is a downstream effect of all these changes
Definitely.
with the playoff and the conferences and everything. But I don't know what you do about it, because it's like the horse is out of the barn with guys getting paid and being able to move around. I don't know. It's never going to go back to the old way. So you need to figure out a way to live this way if you're Notre Dame, in a way that could work for you, where you can compete and not sacrifice your values.
Well, I've got family out in California, and there's 2 things I know about California. They love money, and they love the glitz and glamour. So, it isn't going to shock me if 2 or 3 years USC comes crawling back, because you go out to Southern California and go to a good USC game, the stadium's half full.
Yeah.
Anytime Notre Dame's there, the stadium's full and it's prime time.
Yeah.
And that's what we bring to the table.
Yep. It's So I don't know, man. It's maybe this will all level out. We'll feel better in a few days. But it's a challenging landscape for a place that hangs on to tradition the way Notre Dame does, to be nimble enough to adjust to all these changes in the sport without giving up who you are. It's a challenge, and Pete Bavacqua's got a tough task on his desk to navigate all of this stuff. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for holding and calling.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, when did you say you'll know when you're probably going to do the tailgates? I know we're going to try to. It looks like we're going to have to try to make a game. I need to look at the schedule in October, because we're going to. My nephew's flying out from out west, and he's a big Bears fan, so we're hoping to do Notre Dame on Saturday and a Bears game on Sunday. So
yeah, double dip it. I don't know. I got to get with some of my crew to figure out when the nucleus, what games are best for the people that help me set up. And we'll get it. I'll try and put something out as soon as we know. So the blue and gold game's next up. I realize for people out of state, that's tough with travel for a practice game. But I think we're looking at 2 tailgates next year. I'll keep people up to date.
All right, great. Well, have a good rest of the day, and Happy New Year.
Oh, thanks a lot, man. You too. Thank you for calling. Do it again. Have a good one.
Awesome.
My main man, what's up, baby?
Hey, what's up, John?
Hey, make me feel better about this. Talk me off the ledge, man. Make me less stressed out. Give me something.
Talk you what off this ledge right here? This ledge? 30 feet in the air, bro. And you guys are all acting like the sky is falling. I carry my balls in the wheelbarrow, bro.
Bro, I don't know if you should be talking to me while you're up on a dangerous platform, man. I need you to be safe, bro.
I carry my balls in the wheelbarrow. Shoot. Hey, Johnny, don't worry. Look, bro, the reason why I'm giving you pushback, okay, is because I don't disagree with you guys as far as I don't disagree with you guys as far as hold on. Um, the portal needs. I don't. I had to jump on from one platform to another. Sorry. I don't disagree with you guys on the portal needs, the D tackles, but we got to hammer just that position, the need there, the D tackles, the kickers. No one knew who that kid Nick Marsh was a month ago. Truth be told, maybe if you follow the Big Ten, you did. I didn't know. I'd be a liar if I told you he did. 80% of fans would be lying if they told you they did. The kid from Wake Forest, what did he do at Wake Forest? I don't know. And if our conference is really that weak, why do we want a D tackle from Wake Forest? You know what I mean? And to sit and really think that the coaches aren't, hitting it the way that they need to hit it, man. I mean, you're really just a fan, and you know what that means? That means, you know what you are. What a fan is? It's an effing a-hole no one cares about. That means an opinion.
Renee,
Go ahead.
a part of the frustration with this process is that we don't know. We don't know the calculations being made. We don't know how the decisions are being made. We don't fully understand how they're deciding how they want to approach this. And then when you don't have that information, the fans are going to speculate, and that's what I'm doing here. I don't know. I just know what I see, and I see other people getting guys that I would have wanted. I don't know.
Hey, and two things, and I get all over the place, so I want to try to stay on point. The great thing your show did was give us a voice, right? It gave us a voice. But also what it did, it led me to, I didn't do this before, because I just stick to what's in front of me. Like Mark says, stick to what's in front of you, man. The rest will take care of itself. But I've gone onto the Ohio Pod, and I've gone onto other websites from other fan bases. They're in the same boat. They're in the same boat. Their fans are just as panicking as much as ours. Ohio State fans are too. Alabama fans, Michigan fans. The difference is that we are always under the microscope. We're always under the microscope, and everybody is gonna make money off our clicks, and they're really ready to throw shade on that Golden Dome. They really are, because they think we're just this entitled fan base, because our fan base is unique. Like I said, hey bro, as far as Indiana football, who in the F do you know is an Indiana football fan? Really, other than the people that went there or maybe played there. There has not been a damn Indiana football fan in the history of college football since before 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Come on, man, let's get real.
Yeah.
Anybody rooting for them, let's get real. That's what me and Liam were talking about. You know what I mean? Let's get real. Okay, so there's no Indiana fan base, man. So we're a unique fan base. Second, every coach, every program is going through this. Now, I watched Kyle Whittingham talk about what they got to do now. They gotta recruit in the portal. They got to recruit, stay recruiting their high school kids coming in, and they got to re-recruit their own teammate, their own team that they've already signed. You know what I mean? So I think for us to say that, what's going on, as fans, we're gonna panic, but bro, they're gonna bring in the best kids to fit Notre Dame football and to help us win at those positions, man. They've done it. They did it 2 years ago. They're gonna do it now. And one thing that Patrick Carter keeps saying, and I hope I brought a little bit of clarity to you. One thing that Patrick Carter keeps saying, Marcus hates to lose. I took my daughter to, like I said, I had the privilege of working at a Utah bar, a University of Utah bar. Met a lot of great people. And the head psychologist to the University of Utah sports psych used to go in there, and he was the psychologist for the Utah Jazz. And he says to me, bring your daughter so I can talk to her. And so by dumb luck, man, she got to go to the Utah Psych. And he said that he asked Jerry Sloan one time, he asked the same thing. There's 2 players on your team. So Jerry Sloan, remember, legendary basketball coach, said, how many of your players love to win, but how many hate to lose?
Yeah.
And Jerry Sloan told them 2. Can you guess who those are? Karl Malone and John Stockton, of course. Marcus hates to lose, man. Because who doesn't want to win? Yeah, we won the portal. Yeah.
You gotta hate losing more than you like winning.
Exactly. And that taste in that mouth right now, in his mouth, is bitter, bro. And like what your caller said, hey, like what I said, I didn't expect us to be left out. Like, holy shit, they didn't just leave probably one of the top 5 running back duels in college football history out of the playoff. Holy crap, right? And so he's probably just taking that in. But to not think that these coaches are not hitting it. Boom, boom. Take away 2 weeks off, get your mind right, but that they're not hitting it. That it's not, hey, cross this dude off. This dude ain't gonna work. Cross this dude off. No, these are his tendencies. Hey, his grades aren't gonna make it. No, because he's leaning more towards this. We already got Bubakar and we got Bryce, and we can hurry up and shift them in with your X's and O's. No, that's not gonna work. To think that they're not in there like mad scientists, man, you got like, I'm sorry, but I gotta push back on that, man. It's not what from what we've seen, it's not these coaches' styles not to grind like that. John, and you said that. You know that.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yep. Hey, man, maybe in a few days, everything feels different, man. They could land a couple guys and we'll be excited. I don't know, but it's been a frustrating last month, Renee. You know that. Everybody's been struggling. Everybody's been hurting.
It has. And the best news we've had is that running back 2026, right? That's the best news we've had. Like I said, it hurt to know that the last time we seen Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, Junior, my favorite player, Junior, that, Rick Myers' kid was throwing a touchdown against them, in Palo Alto. So
about that. Yeah, like of all the Notre Dame things, Rick Myers' bench warming son at 2 a.m. throws a touchdown against Notre Dame. You can't make this crap up.
No, John, but here's one thing. And it sucks, man, because like I said, at this point, Marcus is 5 years into his tenure. That's half a decade, right? So no more slow starts, but we might have to accept that that's how it is. But we've been in this position before where we're thin in the D-line, and they proved resilient, man. They proved resilient. They got an actual D-line coach in now, and they moved out Washington to what he knows how to do at the 2 schools that just won the national title prior to whoever wins it this year. So, hey, that right there, and the last point that your callers have made, earn your money, coach them up. Earn your money and coach them up, bro. Wide receivers and D tackles, earn your money and coach them up, brother. John, man, I love you, doggy. Thanks for letting me say my piece, man. Hey, the sky's gonna fall all the time, brother. Don't lose no more hair over it, brother. I love you, buddy. Onward, Notre Dame.
Have a good one, man. Thanks, Renee. Love you, buddy. He's talking about the sky is falling. I'm worried about Renee falling, bro. Dude, does anybody else worry? I feel like whenever his company's OSHA safety review comes up, that they're going to get written up for like 100 violations, and then Renee's going to be like, what do you mean? I've been doing good work. And then they put together a highlight reel of every one of his calls while he's doing work. He's dangling off the scaffold. They do a highlight of and they're like, we got you on film, bro. Your company's getting fined. All right, we're going with Louise and then JT to finish us up. What's up, Louise?
Hey, John. Sorry about that, man. I'm in the middle of a lab and then middle of outside work. Multitasking like always, but I had to call your show and say my piece. Cause boy, I'm with you. I'm with all of you right now. But I had to realize the other day, patience has this virtue, and I'm a firm believer of that. I know this just shows you how thirsty we are for this natty to come to South Bend. And we're feeling it. We feel like it's in the verge of our grasp. It's on our hand. It's on our fingertips. We can honestly feel it. That's why we have all this frustration with what's going on, because we've been told that 2026, that we were going to send a kite and we were going to send a pigeon to the Vatican, and the Vatican was going to open up the checkbook, and the checkbook was going to get to the pigeon. The pigeon was going to send it to South Bend, and South Bend was going to give it to the administration. The administration was going to give it to people walking. People walking was finally going to give it to Marcus Freeman. Well, guess what? That shit didn't happen. You know what I mean? That shit did not happen. And what's going on though, I feel it's a little bit of a mixture. And you're not this guy though, not Renee, but the one before that kind of beat me to it. The message that was sent out, and maybe we don't know the whole details, but when you say just run it back, you're making it sound like you're running it back for 1 year. Hopefully it's the year that it's a lot of, it was very vague, and a lot of people are interpreting it the way they want to interpret it, and they're running with it. You know what I mean? We just gave so many enemies so much ammo to get at us, either our recruiting, portal wise, and everything that comes with the haterism that goes on in the South Bend. You know what I mean? The problem is, though, is that I feel that Martin got caught and was projected to do something like he did in recruiting, and then they backfired on him. Let's just keep it 100. You know, let's keep it a buck, my boy. Hey, Martin, you got snubbed, my boy, on the first round. Well, you know what? Run it, homie. Run it right now. This is where you make your money. This is where you figure out what you need to do for Notre Dame. And this is how you get your ass together and you figure this out. Because right now, it's on you. You know what I mean? You can't always expect Marcus Freeman to bail you out. And we're going to get a receiver. We're getting that Miles kid. I hope we get the other kid, Porter, too. Quincy Porter, whatever the hell his name is. That 6'4" guy that also declared to the portal. Get the talent. But you also got to see what we have in the chamber. It's not like we don't have nothing inside, man. And we're right. We don't know what these kids can actually do. If anything, if I was a player and I'm seeing all the shenanigans that's going on and you're paying all these other players, I would be feeling up because you know what? I'm going to make my money and I'm going to share. Closed mouths don't feed nobody. And I'm going to run this sucker back next year and show you why you should have gave me that money because I'm going to go rack up 8 sacks, 8 for losses in one goddamn game. Not in one whole season, in one game. And take over the whole goddamn thing. So therefore you pay me my money. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my boy, closed mouths don't feed nobody, bro. So you know what? Let's see what the portal ain't over yet, guys. Round 1 of it is, but not the whole entire portal. And I believe that Marcus Freeman is finally taking control of certain things and probably helping them out because you know what? We got our hands inside the cookie jar, man. Simple as that.
Yeah, man. It's a tough spot, man. It's just you're in such a tough spot with everything going on here. It's just the weirdest blend of circumstances and timing the last month. This is all so weird.
It's weird. It's frustrating too, John. Like I was part of like the first when we missed out on Nick Marsh, and then we missed out on I forgot who's the other defensive tackle guy. And the whole shenanigans that they were playing, Texas Tech is in, they're throwing oil money. Well, you know what? Open up the Vatican playbook, bro. Open up that checkbook. We got money too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why we acting like we're being so stingy, but I just feel like for being the first year for Martin, I think he got caught off guard a little bit, and it's a learning lesson. And we're tired of learning lessons. We really are. We're tired of it. You know what I mean? And the fan base is fed up of all the BS and all the promises and all this and that. And another thing is too, and this is my opinion, my humble opinion. Look, all you B writers, man, when you come out here and talking ish on another guy that's doing the same shit that you're doing, and he's feeding himself the way you're feeding yourself, we don't need to be throwing this shades to each other, man, because you are wrong too sometimes. Some of us are all wrong, but I love the fact that you, at least, John, you keep it 100. You're being honest. You know what I mean? When you don't know, you don't know. You know what I mean? And I respect that as a fan and someone that, you know, I'm part of the clickbait too. I ain't gonna lie to that. You know, I want to know who knows what and who we're getting who and where are we going and where are we landing and what we grabbing. You know what I'm saying? But we also want to be the first at the party, bro. We ain't trying to be the last one either. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we need to stick together and we don't need to be the laughing stock of all these other writers and all these other fans that we're fighting within our own selves. We keep it in house, my boy. You got a problem with that person, you go up to him and you handle it like a man. And you tell him to his face, you know what, I don't appreciate this or whatever. You don't need to be exposing your garbage out here. None of that, my boy. Man, we family, bro. We stay family.
Everybody's going at it. Twitter's a nightmare. Everybody has conflicting reports. It's just a frustrating time for everybody. Like, it really is. Man, so I don't know, man. Maybe we'll feel better in a few days. We'll land a few guys and whatever, and we'll all feel better about it.
That's why I said patience has its virtue. And I'm a firm believer of that. You know, it's all in God's plan, guy. When it does come, it's going to be bittersweet, and we're going to laugh about this a year ago. But don't act like we don't got nobody in house. If anything, right now, guys, I think we're overlooking of what of a hire it was to get this defensive line coach. Because I just think if he just gets enough bodies, he's gonna make lemons into lemon juice. You know what I'm saying? He's about to make that orange juice too, and fresh oranges. You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna even taste that much better because we're over here over projecting, over analyzing on guys that we don't even know just because you say he's number one, or because this other guy said he was number one, or because Tom O'Malley and Tom O'Loyd and all them shenanigans are saying, oh, he's number one. What makes him number one? What do you know what number one looks like? You know what I mean? Sometimes you might have something very special. You might have a diamond under the rough at your own house. That's why it's always best to take care of what you have in-house instead of out-house. The grass ain't always greener on the other side, my boys. I'll keep it 100 with y'all.
We bougie. We still bougie.
Oh, yeah. And your other guy, when he said that, California are flossing. Yeah, bro, we bougie, my boy. We stay bougie wherever we go in Nevada, Kansas City, wherever it is. When you know a California guy, you already know we stay bougie because we floss wherever we go and we talk our shit and we back our shit up. You know what I'm saying? So how about them Irish, my boy? Let's go, Irish. Let's get some natty.
Hey, be safe out there, man. Love the energy, bro. Keep it up. You know what I'm waiting for, you guys? Those two both do the same thing where they watch and listen during work, and they're always on these construction sites. I want one of these times for them to, like, wouldn't it be funny if they're working on the same location, but they're on different sides? I want to see them walking together on the air. It always looks like they could be in the same place. Oh, boy. JT, let's finish it out. Good morning, brother. What's up, man?
Good morning, John. And I wanted to play this interactive game last week when it was a bit more topical, but let's do it now. Interactive game. It's called Guess the Sport. Which sport did the Notre Dame athletic team beat Stanford 47-40 earlier this year?
I don't know. Is it what is it? Lacrosse? Does the score get that high? I don't know.
No, it's basketball. If you can believe it. The basketball team scored less points on Stanford than the football team did and still won. Unfortunately, it was followed up by that.
That's a good point. That's a good point, JT. Maybe that's why Shrewsbury was charging at everybody.
Anyway, and I'm hearing these people, and I'm hearing everything. I've heard everything that's been happening, and here's where I think we need to get better in this transfer portal. In high school, there's the benefit of going last. And I know everybody else has said this, but in the transfer portal, we got to go first.
Yep.
And the reason is that all these other schools are saying, we have this offer for you, but it's only available to you right now.
Yeah.
They're like used car salesmen. They're like used car salesmen going at you with this offer. And if you don't take this now, somebody else is going to take it. Yeah. And we're going to keep hounding you until you're sick of it. And you just sign them a dotted line because you don't want to hear from them again.
Yeah, JT, you're right, man. Maybe you need to be in charge of the negotiations around here, man. Lay down the law.
It's like, and I've got a challenge for, the people in state, really, because I know it's really hard for people to travel from where I am in Baltimore and elsewhere around the country for something other than like a big football game. But I got a challenge for people that are close by. If you want to show your anger at the Atlantic Coast Conference for not only the horrible call against Cal last week and the propaganda machine showing the Miami Notre Dame football game on repeat for a whole week, you want to show how mad you are? out to the Purcell Pavilion, the Joyce Center, Saturday at 6 to watch the basketball team take on Clemson. That is the first opportunity that this fan base has to show how mad we are, and we ain't gonna take it no more.
I like it, man. You gotta rebel. So what do you think, man? Do you think Notre Dame's gonna land a few portal guys here? We'll feel better in a few days. What do you think, man?
You know what I think? I think that we need to land somebody. We need to land somebody, anybody, at defensive tackle in order to win the national championship that I predicted that we would win. The secondary can be a no-fly zone all we want it to be, but if we ain't stopping the run, they're just going to run the ball down our throats, and that no-fly zone is not going to mean nothing.
Yeah, you don't need to fly. If you could just keep it on the ground right up the middle, I'm with you.
Hey diddle, race up the middle is going to be, hey, diddle, look at that other running back up the middle torching our defense.
What do you think? Do you want to get Keon Keeley, man? It comes full circle, decommitted from Notre Dame, goes to Alabama, and then come back home. What do you think?
I mean, I could definitely get on board with him pulling a Buckner and coming back home. I think, we just got to get somebody that is big, real beefy. Imagine those old Nebraska corn-fed offensive linemen from the 90s. I want a guy like that on the D-line.
Yeah, you need to take up some space in the middle, eat up the running lanes. Yeah, I'm looking for that beef, JT.
Yeah, I'm looking for
that Arby's, baby. We got the beef. I need that beef, bro.
Yeah, and my contribution to the Always Construction show, my cousin Dylan is working on the Key Bridge reconstruction right now.
Well, there you go. Maybe they could scale right off the edge of it with Renee and Louise there. So, hey, what do you think of the playoff games that are coming up? What do you make of this? Who are you predicting to make it to the title game?
Unfortunately, I can't see anything other than Miami versus Indiana, as much as I don't want it to be that. And I've got a message for everybody that's all worried, sick about Indiana. Once the Baltimore Ravens do what I want them to do and hire Kurt Signetti, you know what all those IU people are going to be doing? They're going to be getting that Notre Dame jersey that's in the back of their closet, and they're going to put it right back on.
Dude, I'm telling you what, them firing a Harbaugh could easily backfire, man. He'll get hired again in a day, but you could really find somebody worse if you're the Ravens. That's dangerous. Careful what you ask for there, right?
If I can give some perspective here. So Lamar basically, I don't want to say he runs the show, but Lamar is effectively, I don't think Lamar likes Monken all that much. Harbaugh was effective, according to the reporting that I've seen, this could be different, but Harbaugh was told to fire Monken. Mm-hmm. He said no, so he was gone.
Yeah, I read that. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, I see a lot of people wanting guys like Flores and all these other NFL people. And I'm just sitting here going, we've got Kurt Signetti over here and I'm getting laughed out of the room.
Are you a Signetti fan? Do you like the Sig? Are you smoking cigs? Are you or what, man? Are you ripping darts or what?
Well, Kurt Signetti for me has proven that he can coach and develop a football team. IU cannot recruit to our level. Mm-hmm. However, he has proven that he can coach them up. And that is what I think translates to the NFL a bit better than the big time FBS power college coach that recruits, but doesn't necessarily know how to coach. He just out talents people. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is why I'm also very high if the Ravens decide to hire that Montana State head coach.
Yeah, it's you're right, man. And you got to give Cignetti credit. Like, when you have that many moving parts, guys coming and going, 30 guys coming and going or whatever, the culture doesn't seem to be negatively affected. They're all on the same team. They play really good winning team football. They do a good job, man.
Well, Indiana's a basketball school, so the culture in Indiana is always going to be about basketball.
JT, you're the man. You're the man. So what's on this? What are you going to do the rest of the day? What's on the schedule, bro? I know you're going to watch some game later. What's on the schedule?
What's on the schedule? I'll figure it out. I don't know. I don't know quite yet. I'll figure that out. And at the end of the day, the most important thing, let me get some show and tell over here. I'll be back in a second.
Here.
I
don't know where this is going, JT. I don't know where this is going.
The most important thing right here.
There you go.
See this? Right here.
Are those your portal specific rosary beads?
No, it's just my general rosary beads. It's not something special. But this, our Catholic faith, is the most important thing. And we've got to recruit men of integrity, not men, unfortunately, like Kenny Minchie, that's telling Nebraska that he's coming, and he's telling Nebraska he's coming. Oh, sorry, I gotta go to Kentucky because they gave me a blank check the night before. I am just I don't in hindsight, I don't know how Kenny Minchie fooled all of our administration staff and all of our coaching staff into thinking that he was a man of absolute top-notch character. He could have left Notre Dame. He could have left Notre Dame before when he didn't start. At least he stuck around a while. Now he's getting paid. He's getting paid, baby. I understand. I get that. And I give him credit for that. But his portal behavior was just so unlike the guy that stuck around to be the backup, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. JT, anything else, buddy? I really appreciate you waiting and jumping in today.
Yeah, I have one more thing left to say. I would be a very conflicted man if the Ravens actually hired Marcus Freeman. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, but if the Ravens actually hired Marcus Freeman, I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, that would be, there would be upheaval. Hey, JT, man, I love you. Thanks for waiting. Thanks for jumping on, buddy. Come up with something else good and join me next time. Okay, buddy?
Thank you, John. Thank you. And go Irish.
Go Irish. Have a good one. JT's the man. Really appreciate that. $10 holler at him. Is the lack of portal player signings tied to the scholastic demand Notre Dame holds? Apologies for the drop call. No problem, man. Usually you sound perfect. You were breaking up today. Some of it, yes, but the guys Notre Dame had scheduled visits for, you must assume they did the research and know they could get in the school, or why waste everyone's time scheduling a visit? So if there's good guys in the portal that aren't on the radar at all, you could then say, oh, I wonder if it's academics. But anybody they have scheduled, you would have already had to do that, or you're going to waste everybody's time. So I don't know. Really frustrating, you guys. I got to tell you, though, Really robust show today. Shooting all over the map, different opinions, different guys, a lot of competing chats on different angles on this. Some trolls in here doing their part. Even when we're frustrated, I love this show, man. I love the blend. I love the life of it. I love the feel of it. You guys are great. Thank you for letting me do this. I mean that. So we're going to wrap it up there. Maybe when we rejoin Friday, we'll have a playoff game to react to, and maybe we'll have a lot of some Notre Dame news. But you guys are awesome, and JT's the man. I really appreciate it. He waited a while to get on. JT's the man. You remember he was calling before we did this, and now we know what we're dealing with. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support. We'll see you guys on Patreon.